The End of Days, the 1999 Arnold Schwarzenegger film predicated upon the idea of the Y2K disaster being the end times of the world, is a movie I'm just rewatching because it's so much fun. It's easily my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Partially because there's a part in the movie where he just gets his ass absolutely handed to him by an old woman, and it is one of my favorite scenes ever. Anyway, I digress. What it got me thinking about was how it's always the end of the world. How many ends of the worlds I have survived. How many ends of days I survived. We thought it was going to be the end when I was a child. We thought it was going to be the end of days from nuclear holocaust. Like we actually had drills for that, and then there's so many other things that have come up. Even up to, let's say, even COVID, I think, and some people thought was kind of the end of things, and Y2K and 2012, the Mayan thing. It's always, and what made me think about is how there's so many of these supposed ends of days, and how when I think back in in history and literature, going all the way back to the earliest times, we find literature talking about basically the end of days. Most of civilization for the last 10,000 years, it's pretty easy to say we've lived in terror of losing civilization almost the whole time, and so it's always just the end for us all. And I think that maybe that's maybe that's a sign of living in a world that is so successful. Maybe that we're victims of our own success. We don't have to worry about a tiger jumping out of the bush. So we just have this latent fight or flight response as mammals. It's just a mechanism built into us that doesn't really get used that much. So the main concern then is, but that wiring's still there, and it kind of needs to be used in some way, I think. At least I'm not a neurophysiologist, but in some ways, we use that as a continued worry. And I think a lot of the things we worry about is the loss of a civilization. And the irony, I think, there is that we don't spend enough time enjoying the benefits we have now because we're worried about losing them. Like, I imagine somebody who would say own a really nice Ferrari, or something like that. Like, how self-conscious would you be about driving that down the road? Like, would you be worried about like every little ding, every little rock on the road more so than normal? Would you drive more carefully? I mean, I can't even imagine how sensitive I would be if I was driving around something that valuable, and that's something that I cared that much about. And so I don't know that I would be able to really enjoy driving a Ferrari very much, as opposed to because I think I would be concerned about all those things. And in a way, we live in that's a mild metaphor here. We live in a Ferrari civilization in a way, and many of our biggest complaints are predicated upon our fear of losing them. That in some way this is the end of days, and it's not. The world is still going around. It's still going around the sun, and the sun's still going around the galactic center, and the Milky Way galaxy is still swirling out there in the local galactic cluster. The universe is still working. The world is still working. So let's maybe I'm really personally trying as hard as I can not to buy into the catastrophizers or buy into my own mind catastrophizing. So I'm just putting this out there for my friends and families, just to let you know what I'm thinking about. I love y'all.